pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Fire evacuation announcement. The doors are right behind you, right out here, and also down through these set of doors on my left and down the stairs and out the back. And please, if there's anything going on, please walk as far away from the building as possible. Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Louis Fiore.
Here.
Virginia Higley.
Here.
Linda DeGray.
Here.
John Petronella is here. Francis Alimo. Absent. Kiran Majmudar is absent. Ken Helinski.
Here.
Vinnie Garillo. Absent. Christian D'Antonio.
Here.
And Nicholas Lefakis.
Here.
Thank you. Let the record show we have 2 regular members at this time missing and 1 alternate. So basically, it was Mr. Grillo's turn to be the first alternate to sit tonight, but next in the list is Mr. Lefakis, so you will sit in for Mr. Limo tonight. And Mr. D'Antonio, thought Karan was making it, but you'll sit in for him until he can make it. And then even if he does make it, and one of the applications, as you know, Commissioner Petronella does recuse himself, you would step back in for that. So right now, both gentlemen are sitting in for the regular members who are here. At this point, I would entertain a motion from one of my members to please move item other business to immediate.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Helinski to move other business to be immediately after this. In addition to that, I would actually ask that old public hearings, number 9 PH 3040 MA, be moved to right after bond releases and before new public hearings.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner Helinski to move old public hearings up to be right after bond releases before new public hearings. So having said that, as you see, Commissioner Montandar didn't make it. D'Antonio, so you're back on hold.
I apologize.
No problem. Can we proceed while you're setting up? You'll be all set?
Yeah, give me a few minutes, but go ahead, you continue.
Okay. If I need something, I will pause if I see you're falling behind a little bit. Other business. Very quickly, what I wanted to mention tonight is this conversation has also occurred on the town council, and I believe it's been brought up by the ZBA. I just want to, again, bring to everyone's attention that there is a difference between minutes and transcripts. And we need to be defining that, and I believe soon. As you can see, we've had 3 meetings now, minutes still not approved. And I wanted to bring this up because they've gone through it in the council. The town clerk, Sheila Bailey, gave a wonderful presentation to them about the difference. And before I go any farther, I will say whatever this commission wants to do, the majority of you, I will support 100%, even if that means that Lori and I have to sit down with the town manager to appropriate additional funds now and in the future. But I want to mention something. Minutes are not a transcript of the verbatim of what goes on between all of us or even residents' comments. Minutes really are a note of what the action, who made the motion, how the vote went, and that recording, and any real pertinent information to help with that. And what we've been getting for a long time, and I know Commissioner Helinski and I are also very accustomed to this, is we've been getting transcripts. And that's really what we're getting. Again, that's above and beyond minutes. So I just want to make that point. There has been a move within town because a lot of people who used to do minutes were stenographers at one time, and that's kind of going away. So it's very hard now to do transcripts when all we really need legally is minutes. So I hope I explained that. I can actually read Robert Rules if anyone would like me to, the actual definition of what minutes are. I don't think I really need to do that, but
No, I'm glad you explained. I didn't know the difference.
there is a big difference. Now, I guess I'm bringing this up because I think we have a wonderful new recording secretary over there doing a really nice job, and staff actually needs to know, and we need to know what direction we want to go into. So if we want to conform now to official Robert Rules of Minutes, it saves a lot of staff time, et cetera, or do we want to continue getting transcript? The other thing I'll mention is that these YouTube videos are being stored forever. There is no delete date at this point in time. So again, if there's a concern now, well, what about if we had to go to court? Or what about if we had to go back to the transcript? Again, that YouTube is available for staff in our legal department to be able to do that, to pick up the conversations that occurred between all of us.
So that's a good record.
That is basically becoming the official record, from what I have been told. So I'm looking for comments, because I do want to give direction to staff on what direction we want to go here, so that Lori and I kind of know what to do going forward. Lori, anything, would you like to add to this, or do you think I covered it? I think I covered it.
I think you covered it.
Yes.
I just have a quick question. You said it's the, who voted for it?
Yeah, hold on.
The only reason I'm asking is because we get a notice of action, so
Yeah, yep.
I assume the minutes are a little more detailed than that.
Yeah. Basically, from official minutes, the Robert Rules of Order for official minutes, a kind of meeting, is it a regular, special, annual, adjourned, whatever, the name of the organization, the date and time and location of the meeting, a mention of whether the previous minutes were read and approved, and basically, all main motions, all motions bringing a question before the body, final wording of the motions, either adopted or is opposed of, disposition of the motion, secondary motions,
Yeah.
and any points of order. And the name of the person and who's put the motion in, who seconded it, what count it was, roll call or abstains. Very, very, very vanilla.
Yeah.
And that's really what official minutes really are. It's not a transcript of the conversations you and I would have
Yeah.
discussing something.
Okay.
So I'm
Thank you.
just kind of looking around to see, really, we need to give staff some direction on this as we go forward. It's, so does anyone have any other comment they,
I'm fine with minutes.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with minutes as well. And
Yep, same. Minutes make sense for sure.
Commissioner LaFakis?
I'm fine with minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, I'm fine with minutes.
I'm fine with minutes as we have been doing. Thank you.
Okay, so basically of going this point forward, we no longer need transcripts. We can start shrinking down these minutes to be what they're supposed to be per Robert Rules of Order. And this way, if we need to, or residents need to, or staff needs to, or the legal department needs to hear all the verbatim conversations, they can go to the YouTube. And those would be, I've been assured by our staff, those would be saved forever. So I think that's a direction. I don't need to take a vote. There was clear consensus, unanimous, that we're going to be shrinking these minutes down, these transcripts down to official Robert Rules of Order minutes going forward, after we approve these three tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you for bearing with me, and thank you for bearing us with that administrative function we had to do tonight. Seeing none, let's move on now to the approval of minutes of September 8th.
So moved.
Is there a motion? Motion made by
Second.
Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner DeGray. Is there discussion on these to be amended? No? Is there any more discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as is from September 8th, signify by saying aye.
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 Let the record show that it was unanimous with Commissioner LaFakis abstaining. Okay? If I'm going too fast, just let me know.
Nope.
Do you need me a second to? Okay. Move on to the minutes of September 22nd.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner DeGray to accept the minutes of September 22nd. Is there any discussion or any amendments need to be made with those minutes at this point? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting those minutes, stand by aye.
Aye.
Let the record show is unanimous, again with Commissioner LaFakis abstaining. Moving on to the minutes of October 13.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner DeGray to accept the minutes of October 13. Any discussion or amendments need to be made with those minutes?
I abstain. I wasn't present.
I abstain as well.
Yeah, I got you both, yep. Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting those minutes?
Aye.
Let the record show that was 5-4 with 2 abstentions. Commissioner Helinski and Commissioner Majumdar were abstaining from those minutes of October 13th. Thank you, everyone. Town Attorney's Report. I think we all got that, the October 24th, a little synopsis, where that stands.
Mr. Chair, I got a question on the attorney's reports. As we get them, I'm not seeing where we're getting anything on what the decisions were, I guess. There was an item on here for previously, a couple of months ago, and I think it involved, was it Moody Road? Which involved, I think, Jarmark, and that was deferred or whatever, or it was settled, or I'm not sure. What was the outcome of that?
I think he withdrew it, didn't he?
Which particular one was it?
Moody Road,
Moody Road,
Jarmark Moody Road.
yeah, was it 128 Moody Road or,
128 Moody Road?
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the one on the trucking, so that was remanded back to ZBA.
Right.
Okay, so that goes back to ZBA?
Yes.
Okay. And on this one here, there was a motion, on this number 3, the motion to withdraw, and he was granted on October 14th. So withdrawal was by Jarmark Farms, I believe, right? Yeah, because it was, they filed the complaint.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's been movement on that.
all right. Okay, all right, thank you.
So the other one's going back to ZBA
Yep.
if, I'm not sure whether they're going to grant the
Right.
variance or not.
Yep.
And this one has been negotiated.
Yeah, as an overall, I just want to make sure that, I'd like to be abreast of any decisions in court decisions, if we can get that, only because it somehow may down the road affect us as to, law and how things went and so forth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Public participation. Everybody all set with the attorney report? At this point in the meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission welcomes comments, concerns, and opinions relating to planning and zoning in Enfield from anyone who is present, provided that no one may discuss any matter of business at this time that is already elsewhere on the agenda, any matter that is part of an open public hearing of the commission, any matter where a decision of the commission may be pending, which that also includes any pending legal action against us. Would there anyone like to speak?
Good evening, Nikki Price, 1324 Enfield Street. Commissioner Fiore, I appreciate that you are doing Robert's Rules of Order and you're following it. What I did was I bought Robert's Rules of Orders dummy and I started reading it. And what happened was, as I was reading it, what they told me in the book was that you have to get the 12th edition of Robert's Rules of Order, because if any of the board recites a Robert's Rule of Order and they want to make a motion of it or follow the procedure, the book says get the 12th edition, so this way you can point out to exactly what the rule is, and this way it can be recorded in the minutes that you followed Robert rules, whatever the rule was. So I just want to say thank you very much, because I am very aware of Robert Rules of Order. I'm halfway through the dummy. So now I'm going to start reading the 12th edition.
There
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? For the final time, anyone else? Thank you. Seeing none? There's no bond releases? So now we're going on to old business. Commissioner Petronella, you're recusing yourself? Is there anything you could pass on to Linda?
The list of names.
Just a list of names.
Names. Just the names. That's it.
I'll entertain a motion to take public hearing 3040 MA off the table.
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chairman Higley, seconded by Vice Chairman DeGray to take public hearing 3040 MA, 1297 Enfield Street off the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Having said that, Commissioner D'Antonio, you're sitting back in for Commissioner Petronella, who has recused himself. And also, just for the record, to show that since Commissioner Petronella has recused himself, Vice Chairman DeGray was taking over for this application as the secretary. Basically, as we all know, this bring us back up to date because it's been a while. This application has been with us, I believe, since the last meeting in June. The vote was taken.
Just want to check, who's sitting for John?
Commissioner D'Antonio.
So everybody's seated.
Everybody is seated. Everybody is seated. The vote was taken to take it off the table. We'll do it in case we miss it. All those in favor of taking it off the table? Let the record show is unanimous. Bring us back up to date. This application has been with us, I think, since the last meeting in June. It's been a long time coming. we should really act on this tonight. The public hearing has been closed, so there's no more input from the applicant or from the residents, and we just need to discuss a few items here to move forward. The very first, one of the things we do need to decide tonight before we move forward is, whether we want to accept this application without an official site plan. Basically, as you all know, under our current SDD regulations, section 560-3-A, a site plan is required because this is a zone change. Okay, and basically this is a legislative change. Really, you probably don't do anything more important than a zone change when you really get down to it. So we have to decide whether we want to grant the applicant the waiver of that, or whether we want to adhere to our current regulation, which specifically specifies that you need to have a site plan review. That's the very first thing. So if you don't mind, I think we should go in chronological order instead of me jumping to item 2 or so. Why don't we tackle item 1 before we go any farther? Is there any discussion on item 1? Anyone like to mention anything? I know we talked about this before, but this is discussion time. Anyone have anything they want to add?
I have a
Commissioner
comment
Mosmander?
to add, and that was, we have 2 pieces of,
Yeah, that's different. That's for the petition.
oh, okay, so that doesn't apply.
That doesn't apply to this.
Then I'm done.
So seeing none, would you, I probably shouldn't be putting motions in. So
moved.
is there a motion to grant a waiver for site plan requirements for an SDD application per section 910-2C?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner Majmudar. Discussion. So basically, if you grant yes, you're granting a waiver to it that a site plan is not required, okay? A no means that you want to adhere to the regulation, okay? Any discussion on that? Seeing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Lou Fury,
No.
Virginia Higley,
No.
Linda DeGray, no. John Petronella recused himself. Karam Majmudar,
Yes.
Kenneth Helinski,
Yes.
Christian D'Antonio,
Yes.
Nick Lefakis.
No.
So let the record show that granting the waiver to the applicant was defeated 4-3. Now we're going to move on to the second consideration of vacancy requirement for SDD zone. Basically, this came down to whether we want to accept the applicant's calculation of the vacancy or occupancy of this area or not. As you know, basically, our SDD says 80% for 24 months. There was some evidence that basically was given to us, whether you want to take it as such, whether that probably was not met. The applicant was explaining some other rooms or reasons. So it basically just comes down to whether you want to accept the applicant's calculation of the 80% or whether you want to accept staff's interpretation of that and what's been brought before us. So again, I'll entertain a motion to whether you want to accept the applicant's vacancy, or which would be a yes vote, or whether you want no vote would be you're going to stay with the staff.
So moved.
So motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner DeGray to have a vote on whether we accept the applicant's interpretation of the vacancy rate or whether we accept our own interpretation, the one that staff has given us, and the evidence that was put in front of us. Everybody understand? So a yes means you're granting the waiver to the applicant or you're agreeing with the applicant's interpretation. No means you're agreeing with the evidence and the staff. Secretary, please call the roll.
Lou Fury,
No.
Virginia Higley,
No.
Linda DeGray, no. Karam Majmudar,
No.
Kenneth Helinski,
No.
Christian D'Antonio,
Yes.
Nick Lefakis.
Yes.
Okay, so let the record show that it was 5-2 vote to not grant, I don't want to say the waiver of the vacancy rate, but the applicant's interpretation of it. We're staying with staff. Thus, the applicant failed to demonstrate the vacancy rate that was needed for this current regulation. As far as the petition, we have had numerous information back and forth now between 2 different sets of lawyers. The one thing that was definitely seemed to get clarified today, and I tend to agree with them, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind on that, is that the 2 LLCs did seem to get verified that they were the proper personages to sign the petition for the LLCs. But even if you included that with the calculation, it still doesn't come up with the percentage needed to grant the supermajority petition. I don't know if we actually need a vote on that. I don't think we do. We just,
No.
You need to either state that the petition is valid or not.
okay, so I guess we probably should have a motion and a vote on that. We'll do it official way. I'm just trying to think of how to do that.
Yes means
So is the petition granted or is
Or
the...
yes or no?
Yeah, yes
And
or no.
Is there any discussion on that? And is everyone kind of clear where we are?
So a yes vote means you agree with the people, the protest petition people? Yes?
So the petition requires 20% of the land area to have petition signing, of the land area within the 500-foot abutting boundary. So based on the calculations that were presented from the applicant, if you count all of the 11 parcels, which I added to them, and so there was 11 parcels total. That equals 11.06 acres, and 20% of the 500-foot boundary area is 12.46 acres. So therefore, they do not meet the 20%.
And that's counting the two LLCs.
That's counting
Yeah.
counting all the
That's counting all of them,
LLCs.
yeah,
That's counting all 11 parcels.
right.
So the question really is not whether you're granting the petition per se, it's is the petition valid
Yeah.
or not?
So
Okay.
yes is, it's valid?
Yes would be valid, and no, it's not valid. Okay. So we'll entertain a motion to vote on the petition.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley, second by Commissioner DeGray. A yes is, you're saying the resident's petition is valid, and no is you're saying it's not. Roll call. Any questions on it? Everybody clear? Yes means you're voting that the petition is valid, and no means you're voting the petition is not.
Lou Fiore,
No.
Virginia Higley,
Yes.
Linda DeGray, yes. Karam Majmudar,
No.
Kenneth Helinski,
No.
Christian D'Antonio,
No.
Nick Lefakis.
Yes.
Let the record show that 4-3, this commission voted that the petition is not to be accepted. So having said that, I think we covered everything. Is there anything else anyone wants to cover? Is there anything else anybody else wants to cover before we go to a vote to approve? I'm going to ask the last time. Everybody
Wait.
pretty clear after all these months?
Mr. Chairman, before
Yes.
you proceed, can we just want to clean up the,
Yep.
not clean up, but just make sure we're straight on the site plan, master plan waiver. We had the chair's no, Virginia's no, Nick as a no, we had Kron as a yes, Mr. Helinski is yes, and Christian as a yes. Who was the fourth no? Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, let's forget about
And also,
you.
It's okay.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to say that, so in speaking with the petition, the town attorney received a letter from Merman yesterday late from and he was representing the petitioners. Although the letter was late and it's by the petition's attorney, by advice of our town attorney, that we are putting that into the record. But we also have received comments from the applicant's town attorney that objects to this going into the record because it's all post-public hearing.
Yep.
So I just wanted to state that for the record.
Yep, thank you. Thank you very much. And that would be those letters that we received today. All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Oop,
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, no, please.
We just want to make sure we're following your,
Yep, if I'm
Yeah,
going too
so-
fast, just let me
so-
know. You have the motion to approve? Yep, go
okay,
ahead.
so you clarified the petition.
Yep,
And so now you're taking action on
yes.
the application, okay.
Secretary?
Make a motion to approve PH 3017 MA, application of Community Builders and owner Felician Sisters of North America Real Estate Trust for a rezone from HR 33 to SDD at property location 1297 Enfield Street, map 46, lot 2, HR 33 zone.
Second.
Motion made by Secretary DeGray, seconded by Commissioner Higley. To motion to approve. Discussion. I will mention that, basically, if you voted no against some of the waivers, you should be voting no to approve. I mean, you can't vote no and then vote yes for approve. It doesn't make any sense. So,
Do we have to give reasons?
and you have to give reasons for your denial. So,
Yes, please.
I guess I'll be first up. So, if you, whatever. So,
So the reasons only for denial, not for approval?
How you're voting.
how you're voting. Does he have to give a reasons for approval?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a rezone application.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah,
Both.
either or.
Both. Either or. Yep.
All set?
Yes.
Lou Fury,
No, not to approve because failure to comply with our regulations is section 560-1, item C, and the failure to comply with 560-3-A.
Virginia Higley,
No, it doesn't comply with our current POCD. It doesn't comply with Section 5.60 of the zoning regulations, and it doesn't meet Webster's 9th edition definition of vacant.
Linda DeGray, no, for all the same reasons our chairman and vice chair have given. Karam Majmudar,
Yes. Section 5.60.1E, proposal will provide substantial benefit to the town and the immediate neighborhood.
okay. Ken Helinski,
No, due to the fact that Section 5.60-1, the vacancy rate is not compliant. And on Section 5.60.1, the proposal does not exhibit compatibility with the character and density of land use abutting the site. That would be item F in that section.
Thank you.
Christian D'Antonio,
Yes, I think this meets our requirements for special development district rezone.
Nick Lefakis,
I'm going to vote no because of the reasons that were previously cited in the no votes.
Thank you. Let the record show that this application has been denied by a 5-2 vote. Please. I would like to just add two things, if I can, to closure of this. First of all, I would like to thank the applicant. I know a lot of them aren't here tonight, for their professionalism, their passion for this project. They gave a very good demonstration over these last couple of months, and just the way they handled themselves. I know, speaking on behalf of the commission, I'd like to thank them very much. I also want to thank the residents for their professionalism and also for their passion and well-preparedness for this. I mean, I only had to hit the gavel once, I think, in all the meetings we've had. We've had a lot of them since June, so it went very well, and I thank you. You were a model for a good way of demonstrating your passion for what you want to do. And I want to thank staff, because I know they've been working on and off on this application probably for over a year now, and we've come to this point, so I know they put a lot of time in it. So I want to thank them for their professionalism and guidance. And my fellow commissioners, it's been a long time. We've been doing this once since June. I want to thank you all for hanging with us.
I'd like to make a statement, too. I should have preceded my vote by this statement, but although I missed 2 meetings, I did watch the video of the meetings, so I felt qualified to vote.
Absolutely. Absolutely you did. Yeah. So again, seeing that this application is closed, thank you. I entertain a motion for a 5-minute recess.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley, second by Commissioner Gray for a quick 5-minute recess. We'll be adjourning momentarily. Thank you. Whenever you're ready, John, you're back in your bailiwick. Secretary, call the next PH 3049, please.
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at the regular meeting on Thursday, October 27th, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers at 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing 3049, 92 Main Street, proposed mixed-use and parking improvements, Salas Brothers LLC, applicant owner, map 24, lot 47 and 61, zones TD1 and TD4.
Thank you. The applicant or the representative, you know the routine, you're already here. Go ahead.
Good evening. For the record, Dana Steele. I'm a professional engineer with J.R. Russo and Associates. Our office is in East Windsor. And here tonight representing the applicant, Salas Brothers LLC, for this mixed-use development in Thompsonville. The property is located on Main Street, 92 Main Street, across from Pleasant Street, as you can see on the key map here. And I've colored up the existing conditions plan just to explain a little bit about where the site stands right now. There is a building to the right side of the property as you face it from the street that is non-conforming with regard to setbacks, but it's historical building. It's been there for a long time, and the applicant purchased the property about a year and a half ago, looking to redevelop it, turning the upstairs into studio apartments, 4 studio apartments, and the downstairs remaining retail as it's been. But there hasn't been much activity in this building for many years. There was a bait shop there fairly recently, but really an underutilized property. And so one of the problems with the property was a lack of on-street parking. I've highlighted here the existing gravel parking lot, which is really not configured for any particular number of parking spaces. It's just the area that was sort of available topographically to construct. But as you can see, it encroaches onto this area here that I've highlighted in green. That's owned by the town of Enfield and is part of the community garden property, which is to the east of the property. So the applicant has reached an agreement with the town to purchase this area, about 3,000 square feet, and add it to their existing parcels. There's actually 3 parcels involved here to bring the site into greater conformance. So with the addition of that property, there's some opportunity for more on-site parking. And so the site plan shows the area that is proposed for on-site parking here in yellow. We did go to the Zoning Board of Appeals to request variances for parking setbacks, because even with the space that we had, we didn't have room for the full compliant 10-foot setback from the building and 10-foot setback from the side property line. And we received those variances, so our site with those variances are in conformance with the regulations. The regulations require parking for the studio apartments, 1 space for every studio apartment, and require spaces for the retail on the bottom as well. We came up with a total of 15 spaces. I think staff said it was 16, had to do with the rounding, whether you round down or round up. And so in any case, with this proposal, we have 10 off-site parking spaces, which right now they really have none. There is a gravel area that's off their property and is really non-conformant. So this is going to be a conforming driveway, paved, striped, a dumpster area for trash pickup enclosed with privacy slats so that it is screened from view. The water is going to sheet off of the parking lot towards Freshwater Brook. We did receive a wetland permit for this project, for this activity, and we are proposing some stormwater treatment and with a bioretention area to the right of the dumpster area, which takes the water, allows it to soak back into the ground before continuing onto the river. We've shown an area designated for snow stockpile here. There's some other areas around the site where snow could be stockpiled, but this is the ideal location, as the site, when the snow melts, will drain across the parking lot. So that's the area that we've designated for snow storage. We are proposing some landscaping to accent the site. Your regulations require a parking tree for every 5 spaces, so we're proposing 2 new trees. There are existing trees in the back of the site along the river, but the front of the site doesn't currently have any landscaping to speak of. So we're proposing some shrubs along the retaining wall in front of the building, just a short retaining wall. There's a little bit of a grade difference. The street is actually a little bit higher than the building, so it sets down just a bit below the street grade, and that's why there's an existing retaining wall here. There's an existing curb cut on Main Street. It's directly across from Pleasant Street, so we're not relocating that. We're going to use that existing curb cut, and with this, we have 10 parking spaces, 1 accessible parking space. So we have room for the residential uses and the commercial uses to have some on-street, some on-site parking. The regulations in Thompsonville allow us to have up to 50% of our required parking off-site. Obviously, we want to try to have as much on-site as possible. If the applicant could have taken more of the land here, they would have done that, but we have the existing community gardens, so what was taken is not impacting the community gardens. The new property line follows the existing chain link fence that encloses the community garden, so that's not going to be impacted. The community garden still has access right off of Main Street. You can park right on Main Street. There is on-street parking allowed in this area. So while we don't conform to the 15 or 16 spaces, we do exceed the 50% that your regulations require, and we believe that there is sufficient off-site parking, including on-site parking on-street parking along Main Street, along the frontage where there's room for probably three vehicles. There is a community parking lot just on the other side of Freshwater Brook, just off of Pearl Street, that is within walking distance of the site. The applicant also owns the vacant lot across the street that has a parking lot there as well. So there's opportunities for additional parking if needed, and we feel that this meets the intent of your regulations. So that's the site. I'm going to just show you briefly the architectural for the building. These plans were submitted in support of this application by the architect, and they show essentially the existing building. So this is a historical building. They're not looking to change it. They're not looking to change the look of it, but they are going to be replacing windows and doors. So that's really the extent of the changes, and cleaning it up. Where bricks need to be repointed, they'll be repaired. It'll be washed so that it's clean. The trim will be washed. Some of the trim board at along the front of the building, I notice, is broken off, so that'll be repaired. So the intent is to clean it up, but maintain the current look of the building. Still going to be brick, still going to have the same trim, just new windows. And these windows on the second floor have the grids in them, a different look than the first floor, kind of showing you that it's something different upstairs. There's residential upstairs. The building is, these are really good-sized windows, and that's utilizing the existing openings. So we're not expanding the openings or making them smaller. We're going to utilize the openings that are there now. Right now, there's these panels, solid panels that break up the openings in the windows. So this is going to more fully utilize only a small panel between the two windows. So each of these double windows is one opening, and it's going to be filled with two large windows and a small space between them. So I think it's an enhancement as far as the look of the building. As far as signage, what's shown on this plan is really just illustrative. It's not a sign application, but showing that there are 2 retail spaces available. The applicant wants to look for small businesses, to bring small businesses back to Thompsonville. He's passionate about that, and so he'd like to have two uses on the first floor. Ideally, a food establishment, but we'll see what opportunities come as he begins to market this property, if this is approved. Other enhancements to the building include these gooseneck lanterns. So there's going to be some lights, fixtures added to the building just for accent to light up security right against the building. They're full cutoff down facing lights. They're not designed to provide a lot of light spill beyond the immediate footprint of the building, but they are, I think, consistent with the style of the period when the building was built, and adds a nice additional element to the site. So and as you can see on this eastern elevation in the back, there is a stairway in the back, and that's because although there are 3 doors in the front, the middle one being stairs that go up to the second floor, so that residents can access their apartments from the front as well as from the back. There's no staircase in the back. There's no door in the back on the second floor, so that is going to be added. So if I turn to that elevation, here we see the south elevation here. This door, right now there's an opening here and an opening here that are going to be bricked in. The plan doesn't show brick there for some reason, but the intention is to match the brick and fill that in and put in a door here and build these stairs to come down to a walk that wraps around the building and ties in with the parking lot. So people will be able to park in the parking lot, walk around the building, up the stairs to get in the back, or go through the front, through the front door. So, and that's important for safety, fire egress, to have 2 ways in and out of the apartment. So, yeah, I think that's really the highlights of this application. This is, I think, one of the first projects in Thompsonville of trying to renovate and make improvements to an existing site that's been vacant for some time. So I hope that you're pleased with it, and we'd love to hear your questions or feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick question for reference. This is the building that's next to the Grays Club.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yep, thank you. Questions from the commission? Commissioner DeGray.
I just have one, and it's about lighting in the parking lot. I know in the notes they're talking about street lights, and the street light should be sufficient, but if for some reason that light is out, and it could go out on a Friday night, and they're middle of winter, ice, things like that in that parking lot for those tenants coming home at night, I'm just concerned there's no lighting in the parking lot.
So there is a light on this utility pole.
Right, but if that goes out and say a long weekend or whatever, and it's out, middle of winter, there's ice, snow, the building lighting, I don't feel would be sufficient if there's,
Yeah, there is. So we are putting those
especially in the back.
along the side of the building there where the parking is. So that would light up against the building, but it won't light up the parking lot. You're right, because that's not the intent of those.
And I am concerned about that. That is a concern only because
Yeah. I think
of my past.
we could certainly add some brighter lights to the building to light up more of the parking area. We could also put pole lights on the opposite side of the parking lot to really fully light it up, but all those things are cost considerations that the applicant preferred not to propose. So if it's something that you're
I just think
require,
it's a
then-
safety issue here that we're looking at. We have coming in tonight, it's already dark, it's 6 o'clock, 6:30. Then add snow or ice onto that. I'm just concerned. That's my concern. I don't know how the other commissioners feel.
Yeah, I think that I addressed that issue as well to the applicant, and while he's willing to do more, he would like to see how it goes. He thinks that what he's got is sufficient for his needs. So, but take any other feedback from the commission.
Are you all set?
Yep.
Commissioner Majumdar?
Yeah, I think I like the idea of revitalization. This would be a part of that revitalization of the entire area. I certainly welcome the retail use of the lower floor, and hopefully it'll attract good retail tenants. So that's a great idea. I also like the idea that between the applicant and the town of Enfield, they came to an agreement for a piece of the property that can be used for more effective and efficient use of the entire park. So that's a great idea too. As to the lighting, I think it may not be a bad idea to put some kind of lighting within the parking lot. If the applicant can agree to it, that'd be fantastic. Overall, I think it's great. Thank you.
Commissioner Helinski, who's up first, and down the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you, do you have handicap access to the second floor? What's the handicap access?
No.
So there isn't, it's just the stairways?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if some people with disabilities can climb stairs, but obviously someone in a wheelchair would not be able to.
Yeah, I was just curious. And there's no requirement for that, I guess? No. Okay.
Not for only 4
Okay.
units.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it was a larger development, then it would be required to have a certain percentage, but for only 4 units, it's not.
Yeah, I was just curious. Okay, thank you.
And it's a great idea, but it's difficult. You'd have to put an elevator.
Yeah,
in.
you'd have to put it on. That's true.
I'll second.
Yep.
Commissioner D'Antonio?
Yeah, I was just looking, can you explain from the architectural plans, the far left of the front?
This area
Yeah, is
here?
that seems to be an addition. Can you just explain that?
I had the same question. I believe what the architect is showing here is a perspective as if you were looking at the building a little bit skew. So if you're looking straight on, this is the building, but this is the side of the building. So as you're kind of like step to it to a side, I think that's what he's attempting to show there. But I agree, it's a little confusing.
So, okay,
I had
it's
the
not
same-
an
I had
addition.
the
Oh,
same
it's like
thought.
3-dimensional. Okay,
Yeah, it's trying to give a little bit of three-dimensional aspect to it.
great, thanks.
All set? Commissioner LaFakis?
Yes, I think this is a great reuse of a building, and it looks nice. I was wondering, are there going to be any rooftop mechanicals, and how are the 6 units going to have heating and air conditioning provided? Are they going to be separate units or all one?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I did discuss that with the applicant. He's intending to use mini split heat pumps for the upstairs, and depending on the retail use in the bottom and what the tenant requires, if it's a restaurant, probably not going to want mini split systems. So he's anticipating use a natural gas forced hot air on the first floor. There is a basement to this building, so those mechanicals would go in the basement, not on the roof.
Thank you.
Great. Commissioner Petronella?
Yeah, I love the application. I think it's an excellent use of the building, and love to see progress being made, especially at that end of the town. And I'm not overly concerned about the lighting. I think I would put my faith in the power company to change that bulb or that light fixture if it ever went out, rather than sometimes an owner, a property owner, having dealt with that. And it is a small parking lot. The building, the lights on the building, maybe they can be upgraded. I think if you're just throwing off enough of light to cast and not to be too powerful to cause light pollution, but there's also another street light. Is there another street light out there that I see?
There are street
Dana?
lights out on the street itself
Right.
that have really high, tall lights. So the street is pretty well lit.
Right.
This pole is on the applicant's property, and it has a separate light fixture that shines onto the parking area.
Yeah, and if you were to do any extra lighting out there, I would prefer it to be towards the back of the property, towards the dumpster pad, and at least near the dumpster area would cast a little bit of light out there for people that are going out to the dumpster at night, and maybe to deter animals and so forth to get out there. But I mean, other than that, I think it's a great plan, great concept, exceptional, and this is what we need, for downtown. So I'm certainly approve of this application.
Thank you. I guess my turn now. Yeah, thank you very much. I concur with all comments here. This is wonderful. This is exactly what we were looking for in town. So I know this is like the second project this particular firm has done now. So I look forward to seeing this get completed. I had two questions for staff, if I can. One is basically, and I think it's already a condition here, but one of the things that's recommended is all parcels associated with this project must be merged prior to the CO. That's one of the conditions. And this is really a special permit and a site plan review together, correct?
Correct, and that's pretty much how we
Yeah.
always do our special
Yeah.
permits.
So
yes.
basically, Commissioner DeGray, if she wanted to try to make this a condition, even without the applicant's approval, that's fine, since it's a special permit, correct? Okay?
Yeah,
So I just want,
correct.
so Commissioner DeGray, I know the light does, you certainly can make a motion for a condition and see where it goes if you like. I just want to clarify that for you, so that's really your call. I know you brought this concern up.
I would like to make a motion to put some kind of lighting as per Commissioner Petronella's suggestion toward that dumpster. I didn't even think about the dumpster and going out at night, but he brought that one to my attention. So I would like to see something, not necessarily big bright light, but something, some
Second.
kind of light.
So basically, your motion is you're making the condition that the applicant add additional lighting near the dumpster
Yes.
with staff's approval, since we don't really have anything on our site plan tonight to say exactly what that would be.
Right.
So the motion is on the table that the applicant must, as a condition, add additional lighting in the parking lot area near the dumpster area. The wattage and physical, actual location of that would be, we're going to leave it to staff's approval, since it's not on our current site plan.
It sounds like we're talking about one fixture.
Sounds like one fixture.
One fixture.
That motion has been made by Commissioner DeGray, seconded by Commissioner Helinski. Any other discussion on that motion?
It can be building mounted.
Sure, I would think it'd be, I would think it could be building mounted if so be.
Okay.
Are we describing it okay? I'm looking at staff and you guys, would we give you enough?
Are you guys comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to, I guess I don't think we need a roll call. All those in favor of that condition being added to this signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. You're not, you're out. Yep. Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean it that way, Chris. Unanimous that can, also an additional condition to this. So that would be condition, sorry, Chris.
10? Specific
28.
28,
Be
right.
28 conditions.
Well, the applicant to get a good coffee shop, so we can go in for a good bakery.
Yeah, something with the transit-oriented development that
Yeah.
works with the train station is, so something like a coffee shop would be ideal, I think.
Perfect. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yep.
I do not have a staff-prepared motion to approve in my packet.
I don't either, to be quite honest. I'm looking for
It
it.
says motion to approve, but it's just blank afterwards.
Yeah.
I have.
No, there's no motion.
You get to read it from there.
Motion to approve, there's in the back of it.
Yeah. There's-
Yeah, but that's what we got. Usually
It doesn't have the first one.
I don't even have that.
Yeah, there's nothing prepared there, so
Yeah.
I can,
We can kind of
Yeah.
I can wing something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
give us a second. Take your time, John.
yeah. I will, let me get this.
It's 28 conditions now, John.
Yep.
Yep. And, okay.
we go.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve PH number 3049, 92 Main Street, application to construct 10-space paved parking lot with concrete walk and dumpster. Salas Brothers, applicant, owner, map 24, lot 47, TD4 zone, with the 28 conditions, 28 or 27 listed on the staff report, and the 28th condition, number 28, that we just approved.
Thank you. There's a motion made by Secretary Petronella. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Lefakis. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, whenever you're ready, Mr. Secretary.
Do we close the public hearing?
No, we didn't.
No.
Oops.
I make a motion, we close the public.
Hold on. Is there anyone to speak for this application or against this application?
That's right.
Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Jumping way ahead.
Motion made by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Alinsky to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let the record show is unanimous that the public hearing was closed. How do you like that? And I'm keeping track of this. Does staff have any more questions or comments? I think we already,
No, it's a great application, I believe. It's meeting the intent of promoting mixed use and rehab in Thompsonville, and we've been working with this applicant for over a year towards this. So I'm glad
you.
to see it moving forward.
thank you.
I would just add, too, that the public hearing sign was posted at the site.
Yeah. Seeing none? Well, no more questions from the commission. We close the public hearing.
Yeah.
So, John, we have to do that again.
We'll do it again. Okay.
Sorry, everybody. I just had a brain
Yeah,
left me there.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3040 MA, I'm sorry, number 3049, PH number 3049, 92 Main Street, application to construct 10-space paved parking lot with concrete walk and dumpster enclosure. Salas Brothers, applicant owner, map 24, lot 47, TD4 zone, with the 27 conditions listed and the 28th, number 28 added condition for the lighting, as we just recently voted on.
Thank you. And the second was made by Commissioner Lefakis. Motion made by Secretary Petronella, seconded by Commissioner Lefakis. Any discussion on a motion? Seeing none, whenever the Secretary is ready to call the roll.
Louis Fiore.
Yes.
Linda DeGray.
Yes.
Virginia Higley.
Yes.
Kiran Majmudar.
Yeah.
Kenneth Helinski.
Yes.
John Petronella is for, and who is in?
Commissioner Lefakis.
Nick Lefakis.
Yes.
Let the record show is a unanimous vote to accept this application. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck with the project. Okay, moving on to the next public hearing, XZA 22-02. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at their regular meeting on Thursday, October 27th, 2022, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers at 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. We are doing XZA 2202, Town of Enfield applicant, proposed zoning text amendment to section 10.30, define and exempt public art.
Thank you. Since basically the town ourselves are the applicant, does staff have anything they would like to add to this?
So just a reminder that basically this stems from the desire for the Arts Council to represent murals and art and public art. And essentially, this commission has no jurisdiction over it, but it just makes it clear in the regulations that it is exempt from any sign regulations and may not have any signs or any commercial logos or anything.
Thank you. Commissioner, for questions? Any questions for anyone? Everything pretty much, we're taking ourselves out of the mural business. We have so many other things on our plate, it'd be kind of nice. Anyone in the public who wants to speak for or against this? Anyone in the public want to speak for and against this? One more time. No, thank you. Seeing none, and the applicant's all set, and no more questions, I'm entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Helinski, seconded by Commissioner DeGray to close the public hearing. Seeing there's no discussion, anytime the secretary to make a motion to approve. Oh, all those in favor, close the public hearing? Unanimous, close the public hearing. Thank you. I think it's right here in the front, John.
Yep. Okay, yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve XZA number 22-02, application Town of Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission for a zoning regulation text amendment with the following findings, reasons for approval, and date. This text amendment is consistent with the Enfield Plan of Conservation and Development. This text amendment will prohibit regulation and protect speech through zoning. The Capital Regional Council of Governments has found no intermunicipal impact. The effective date will be November 14th, 2022.
Thank you. Motion made by Secretary Petronella. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Helinski to approve. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, whenever the secretary is ready to call the roll.
Yes, Lou Fiore,
4.
Linda DeGray,
4.
Virginia Higley,
4.
Kiran Majmudar,
4.
Kenneth Helinski,
4.
John Petronella is 4, and Nick Lefakis.
4.
Let the record show it is unanimous to approve this text change. Thank you. Everybody all set? Whenever you're ready, Mr. Secretary, we'll move on to XZA 3048, public
Okay,
hearing.
yeah. The town, excuse me, the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at the regular meeting on Thursday, October 27, 2022, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers at 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. XZA 3048, Town of Enfield applicant, proposed zoning text amendment to Section 8.2 of the recreational marijuana regulations to allow modifications to separation distances in BR zones and to prohibit variances in separation distances.
Thank you. Since again, the town of Enfield is the applicant, would staff have anything they would like to add to this?
The only thing I do want to add is just a clarification. The memo that you have, we use a template, and up the top, there's a number of boxes. On the top left-hand side, you'll see under the section that says zones, I put in BR. I just wanted to make a clarification so everyone is, I think everyone's on the same page. The modifications relate to the BR zone only. The prohibition on variances is global, so to
Right.
speak. So I just wanted to clarify that in case there was any question on that. Other than that, nothing to add.
Thank you. Commissioner, have questions for staff? Seeing none, is there anyone in the public who would like to speak for or against this one?
Sorry. Not for nothing, but
Geez, if we known you were the only one here, we would have moved this up before the other one.
here we go. Donna Dubanowski, 23 Betty Road. Last council meeting, everybody sat up there and discussed the drugs and the overdoses and everything that's going on in town. And I just want to state that if we're going to make changes, to have a variance on whether a BR zone may be near a school, a college, whatever, if you're going to allow this change, what you're stating is what we said last week, that it's very important, we should have a committee and all that stuff about drugs. And then you're saying, here, let's sell it on every corner. That's my complaint. I just want to make it clear. We say there's a problem with drugs. Let's do something about it and not put it on every street corner. And I know it's a BR zone, whatever, but that's my take. And thank you guys for letting me speak.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Anybody else speak for or against this application? Seeing none. Applicant respond to any questions. I think Town of Enfield is probably all set. No more questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner DeGray to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The record shows unanimous to close the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve XZA number 3048, application of the Town of Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission for the zoning regulation text amendment with the following findings and reasons for approval and effective date. This text amendment is consistent with the Enfield Plan of Conservation and Development. This text amendment promotes economic development in appropriate locations. The Capital Regional Council of Governments has found no intermunicipal impact. The effective date is November 14th, 2022.
Thank you. Motion made by Secretary Petronelli. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Helinski. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those, Secretary? Yeah, we're doing a roll call?
Yep. Louis Fiore,
4.
Linda DeGray,
4.
Virginia Higley,
4.
Kiran Majmudar,
4.
Kenneth Helinski,
4.
John Petronella, 4, and Nick Lefakis.
4.
The record shows unanimous for this text change to be done to this regulation. Thank you, everyone. There is no new business to report tonight. We already moved up other business. Is there any correspondence? Commissioners' correspondence. I'm just going to do this and I'm only going to do this just so we can keep it alive every meeting. Lori, is our POCD update?
I have not gotten the next update. I was hoping to have it this week. I won't be in tomorrow, but I will check to see if we get it and make sure that if it does come in next week, as I'll be on vacation, make sure that other staff members get it.
Okay, thank you. I think you mentioned, do we have a date now for the Krog Mall traffic study to come in front of us?
December 15th. So
December
what they're going to
15th.
do is do a public presentation prior to our meeting, starting at like 4:30. I mean, this isn't set in stone, but approximate times, they'll start at 4:30. Have like a workshop area with, graphics for the public to look at, and then do like a quick presentation for them at about 5:30 or so. And then they'll break and then come up here and then give the commission their presentation for you, because the public presentation will probably include the presentation that you received already, so they didn't want to give that to you twice.
Okay, thank you. Sounds like a pretty, complete evening there for them, so much appreciated. Please pass that on. Thank you very much. Anything else on POCD you care to mention tonight?
Nope, we've
Okay.
been looking at,
Okay.
yeah, no.
Okay, just wanted to ask. Okay, Director of Planning report. Excuse me, is there any other commissioners' correspondence? Seeing none, Director of Planning report.
Not much, but I did want to just let you know that we've been trying to work on procedural and policy changes within the department. Right now, we require a notary signature for all applications. For the affidavit for the public hearing signs, we are eliminating that completely for all applications. It's not needed, it's not statutorily required, and it causes a lot of issues. So it'll make putting applications in a lot simpler.
Streamlining it a little bit.
A little streamlining.
Good.
We're also just making sure that we redact all personal information, and especially if something going on the website or something. We do
Sure.
get some applications that have that, so we'll be making sure that that's all redacted, because now that we're posting just about everything on the website, we really want to make sure that we're not giving out information. So regarding the website, so moving forward, I'm just going to say this. The website for the commission shall include all the files and all the other documents, so bond releases, town attorney reports, so on and so forth, in the master packet file. Staff is going to develop a guidance sheet, so when you go on, you can quickly find the items that you need. We're finding that putting all the applications on, as well as doing a master packet, and then having to update them
Yeah.
every time we get a new thing, it was just way too much work.
Yeah.
So we're just going to give the master packets now. So we will give you some more guidance, so instead of going into the applications themselves, you can find the applications within the master
Master
packet.
packet. Okay.
So,
Okay.
and we're hoping that will also be more accurate.
you have a timetable for that, or you working on it now?
As soon as possible.
Okay, okay.
I mean, as far as the notaries, that's effective immediately.
Okay. Karan?
Yeah, I like the idea of making it a little less complex for the applicant. The problem I found was more to do with the IT of the actual website functioning. If you have a project or an application with many number of plan sheets, what happens is as you scroll through, somehow the memory or something gets overloaded and it sort of freezes. And you start over again from page number 1 or something like that. And that's somewhere in between. The IT people have to look at it to see that something like that goes a little bit smoother. But I like the idea of streamlining it and putting everything on the website. Yes.
Thank you. We'll look into that. And since we're on to an IT subject, has everybody been able to get on with their tablets?
Yeah.
Because I know we've had problems in this room before. So you've been on.
I have to load in as a guest.
Yeah.
I cannot log in on my regular login for some reason.
So they're not taking the email, you know how we can log in with using our email address and our Windows password or whatever? That doesn't seem to work for some of the,
Yeah.
sorry, a bug just flew by my head. It just doesn't seem to be working for some of the commissioners.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I asked then. So we'll see if they could look into that as well. That's all I have.
Okay. I don't have, I try not, because I have like 3 profiles here at Town Hall for the various things I have. So I always log in as guest, but I just do that because of all the other complications. Any other questions for Stan? All right, applications to be received?
Have anything?
No, we anticipate a couple imminent, but not for tonight.
Okay, so nothing's officially been posted for the next meeting. So maybe we'll be getting out the next meeting, who knows? Or do you think we'll end up with a couple?
We'll probably have one. I mean, we'll probably hear one anyway.
Okay,
But that's still to be determined as well.
yeah, okay.
Waiting on some additional information.
Yeah, I know you have a couple in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other opportunities or unresolved issues? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made
Second.
by, hold on, wait, motion, wait a minute, you guys are out. Motion made by Commissioner Majmudar, seconded by Commissioner D'Antonio to adjourn. This meeting of the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission is adjourned at 8:15. Thank you very much, everybody.